everyone, I am Kylie Dupio Gabonales from Beauty One Day. So today I am going to discuss to you about the occipital or occipital lobe. Occipital lobe. The occipital lobe is the part of the human brain responsible for interpreting information from the eyes and turning it into the world as a person sees it. So this is the one on how we are going to see the world around us. And it forms the posterior part of the skull and the base of the cranium. At the right side, you can see there the occipital bone, or example of what we've seen or how it is part of our body. Lobes of the human brain. As we've seen in the picture, the occipital lobe is shown in red. So, occipital. The name derives from its position at the back of the head. So from the Latin word ob, it means behind, and caput, it means also the head. So the structure. The two occipital lobes are the smallest of four paired lobes in the human brain. It is located in the rearmost portion of the skull. The occipital lobes are part of the posterior cerebrum. The lobes of the brain are named from the overlying bone, and the occipital bone overlies the occipital lobes. So occipital has also the function. The occipital lobe is divided into several functional visual areas. Each visual area contains a full map of the visual world. The occipital lobe itself contains different sections or areas, and each of these has a different set of functions. These include the primary visual cortex, known as Broadband Area 17 or V1. Next, the secondary visual cortex, known as Broadband Areas 18 and 19 or V2, V3, V4, V5, which surrounds the primary visual cortex. Also, ventral stream, and also there is the dorsal stream. Next, lateral geniculate bodies, and last is lingula. Functions. First is the primary visual cortex. It receives information from the retina. It then interprets and transmits information related to space, location, motion, and color of the objects in the visual field. It does this through two different pathways called streams, the ventral and dorsal streams. Second is the secondary visual cortex. The secondary visual cortex, called the Broadband Area 18 and 19, or V2, V3, V4, V5, receives information from the primary visual cortex. The secondary visual cortex deals with much of the same of visual information. Third is the ventral stream. The ventral stream is one pathway the primary visual cortex uses to send information. It takes information to the temporal lobe, which interprets the information and helps the brain give meaning to objects in the field of vision. This helps with object recognition and gives conscious awareness to what a person is seeing. Next is the dorsal stream. It is the other pathway the primary visual cortex uses to send information. It shares information about an object's location and carries it to the parietal lobe, which takes in other information about the space and shape of objects in the field of vision. Fifth is lateral geniculate bodies. The lateral geniculate bodies take part of the raw information from the outer part of the retina to the visual cortex. And last is lingula. The lingula gathers general information about the field of vision from the inside half of the retina. The combination of information from the lateral geniculate bodies and the lingula helps create spatial awareness and gives depth to visual information. But I must say that they are linked with medical conditions in the occipital lobe. So dysfunction in the occipital lobe may lead to one or more dysfunctions in the brain, vision, or everyday functioning. It may cause or contribute to any of the following conditions. First is blindness. It is because the occipital lobe deals with vision. One possible result of damage in this area is full or partial blindness. The main cause of these are uncorrected refractive errors and cataracts. Second is Anton syndrome. Anton syndrome is a rare form of blindness that occurs without the person being aware of it. So Anton syndrome, it is where the patient loses their sight but doesn't believe that they are blind. Next is the Reduch syndrome. It is a rare condition in which a person is only able to see moving objects. So it is caused by a dysfunction of the right primary visual and visual association cortices. It representing a functional imbalance within a disturbed visual cortex. Next is the epilepsy. If a person is more prone to occipital or type seizures or photosensitivity seizures, flashes of light, or images that contain multiple colors may trigger these seizures. So the main cause of this is like a stroke or a brain tumor. Other causes can be related to genetic abnormalities, prior brain infection, prenatal injuries, or developmental disorders. There are also other forms of dysfunction. Difficulty recognizing everyday objects, difficulty recognizing familiar faces, difficulty balancing, moving, or standing, and difficulty detecting moving objects, changes in depth perception, and lastly is difficulty reading or writing due to trouble recognizing words. So that's all I can share to you about the occipital or occipital lobe. Thank you for listening and hope you are having the learning about my topic.